So as you all know, I'm in the 5th Naval Amphibious Force. There have been some pretty drastic changes recently and I wanted to cover them. I think some of them have been for the better, some for the worse. With that stated, welcome to the changes video. Now this is gonna sound odd, but I'm actually gonna ask you not to subscribe. If you haven't noticed, this channel is called Liodite 2. It's a secondary channel. Now I have a primary channel, just Liodite, and you guys are catching up pretty damn fast. So I'm a little worried now because it would ruin the structure if you guys just so happen to surpass the primary channel in subscribers. I'm begging you, please don't subscribe. It'd tear me apart, limb from limb. So the first couple days of the Force was pretty normal. After about 4 days though, Wayne comes to me and asks, "Do you want to be the 5 NAF's Command Chief Petty Officer?" I respond with, "Sure!" Now I know what you're all thinking. It's a free rank. No. Maybe, yeah, definitely. However, in my defense, the position is purely handpicked. Wayne understands that I have experience. I ran for basically the same exact position when I was under the 3rd Fleet, and I got it democratically with an election. It was a good time, and I did that job really well. There's just something about that type of position that's kind of suited for me. It's also a victimless rank. The old guy was booted because he simply was incompetent, so I was handpicked to take that position instead. If it was a position in which I had genuinely no experience commanding respect, gathering troops, leading, etc., then I would completely understand. But you have to remember, Wayne knows me. I call this man on FaceTime and I'm literally on my bed kicking my feet. We're that close. And I emphasize, it's not like it's an officer position either. So, that happened. Now, first things first, I got the position and I did a little introduction. I mainly talked about who I actually am, some background experience, and finally, what I plan to do. Keep in mind that this position was sort of thrown at me, so I had to think fast. The main goal of my job was to be a mediator between the enlisted and officers. If there's a problem in the enlisted section, then I bring it up to the officers. Essentially, and quite literally, I am an elevator. I guess it helps that people have always pushed my buttons. I'm sorry. Now, during the week that this happened, Wayne and Hector, the CO and XO respectively, were pretty busy, so I made an announcement and told everyone to direct problems to me. Good. The next and bigger change that I made was the merging of inspections. I brought it up in headquarters and then pursued. Realistically, I'm a problem solver at heart. If I can't solve a problem, I get stressed. One of the biggest problems that I had seen was low numbers within units. I'd see companies, battalions, regiments hosting inspection. Now, that may not seem like a problem on the surface, but they're doing this at least once a week, maybe even twice. Consider you're an enlisted recruit. You don't want to do that. There's no incentive and it's frankly pointless. So I bring it up with 5 NAF headquarters. Quick suggestion, merge inspections. As someone who's been in multiple units before, inspections are by far the worst type of event. They're long, boring, and only for the benefit of headquarters. What I'm thinking is just making the inspections a once per week kind of thing for the whole division. Essentially, 1 5 NAF inspection per week, and that's it. So a rebuttal argument would be, how will we know which units are active? You divide them up by boxes, say Argus Unit 1 in the first, Argus Unit 7 in the second, whatever is needed. Another rebuttal would be, won't this lower activity? No, the opposite. People may be more prone to go to inspections if they aren't spammed every 2 days and rather just have an official 1 per week. Important rebuttal. How do we incentivize people to go? Host inspections and have a raid or literally anything interesting right after. That's how inspections should be used. Gather a bunch of people, inspect them, and then move them to a spot where numbers are important. I know the Et Imperium Germanica map is awesome for raiding and doesn't even need that many people. So, I'm providing the most ideal argument and rebuttal available. This is how ideas should be presented. I'm not just talking about in 5 NAF headquarters, I'm talking about all around USM. This is how ideas should be presented to people. And it got accepted, obviously. I literally got 1 day of being in the position before Wayne decided to change things. Much unlike real life, I did not get fired. Rather, what he did is that he suggested we converge the 5th Naval Amphibious Forces into just the Naval Amphibious Forces. Keep in mind that the 7th Naval Amphibious Force was shut down not too long before this happened. All their sailors had been transferred to us. The main points he brought up for merging is that 1. The 5th Naval Amphibious Force didn't actually exist, so he found it very hard to believe in something that he couldn't physically believe in. 2. Inactivity was actively on the rise. Weird to say, but it's true. People were busy with finals, people just weren't showing up. 3. People were leaving fast. I'm saying this as we were losing upwards of 15 people per week, and that's a lot for a division. So Wayne brought this on as a sort of radical change to fix these problems. The only real problem that I personally had with this plan was the means of going about it. Since I've been in a Roblox Lego military before, things like this just can't go well. You can try your best to declutter the mess, but it almost never does. Regardless, I think Wayne had a bit of a silly way of going about it. He had called all battalion headquarters to a voice call, laid out a plan, gave them a reference, and then said, "Tell your sailors sailors. While this might sound great on paper, or rather screen, it went pretty bad. What I've learned in my many years experience is that you can never trust anyone to do anything in these groups. So when the merge did happen, a lot of sailors were very confused. Frankly, I don't blame them. I'm here to support Wayne in what he does, but I think his way of doing this was a bit foolish. It wasn't mortally damaging though, so we're fine. Now, that brings us to the present. So I've covered pretty much everything relating to the updates so far. The one thing that I hadn't mentioned though is that Wayne brought this to the Naval Amphibious Force headquarters beforehand. It was like his own little Minecraft. He had the documents, he's got the fire, I mean he's all that. And when the group chat was talking about what ranks would transfer where, I just so happened to chime in. I'd be great for a Command Chief Petty Officer position, I said in my most blissful voice. Anyways, that got me the job. It's also because the job is sort of my one trick. I just tend to do really well in like a mediator position between higher ranks and lower ranks. So, within 19 days, I have secured a position as third in command of a naval force. You can call it free ranking, it's fine. I still don't get admin on parade grounds either way, so we're chillin'. With that said, it's been a rough few weeks, but I pulled through, and I want to thank you all for sticking by. I understand that I slacked in the daily uploads, but I'm doing my best. I set myself up for this, and I understood the risk, and now I reap what I sow. I actually do enjoy doing this. It's kind of a challenge for me, but I'm still working on it. It's not all gloomy, though. I'll try to make the most of these last days here. With that said, this has been Garrett, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, gentlemen.